Dead Space is a third-person survival horror shooter released in 2008 by publisher Electronic Arts. It takes place aboard a derelict spaceship where the crew has been overrun by a hostile alien force. It is primarily a capture game, though early on the objectives are simply escape and exploration. The player must traverse the halls of the ship in order to find the necessary equipment to complete various objectives. These can range from fixing broken components to simply getting out of an area alive.
Isaac, you did it. The tram is blocking the whole system.
While doing this, the player will encounter many hostile creatures which can be dispatched using the various weapons acquired along the way. The shooting mechanic is quite commonplace as players can dismember alien limbs for extra damage. The player also has access to something called stasis, which allows them to slow down enemies and objects, almost freezing them in place entirely. This is used in both combat and puzzle solving.
Looks like that door is malfunctioning, Isaac. Try using the stasis module you just picked up.
The game begins with engineer Isaac Clarke receiving an SOS from the mining ship the Ishimura. Upon docking, Isaac and his crew find that the vessel has been overrun by an alien species known as the Necromorphs, which have turned the crew into grotesque monsters. To further complicate matters, Isaac's wife was stationed on this ship and disappeared during the invasion. Now he must avoid the Necromorphs, find her, and get out alive.
How many times you watched that thing? Guess you really miss her. Don't worry, we're almost there. You'll be able to look her up once we're on board.
What the hell was that?
Automatic quarantine must have tripped when the filtration system restarted.
The opening level perfectly sets the tone of the game and introduces the player to the dark hallways of the Ishimura, along with the monsters that inhabit it. After progressing through the tutorial, the first thing the player must do is escape an attacking necromorph. They have no way to defend themselves at this point, so running is their only option.
Isaac, get down!
Run, Isaac! Get the hell out of there!
Once they have made it to the safety of an elevator, they are able to find their first weapon, the plasma cutter.
Use the lips of enemies for extra damage.
From here on, the player will constantly have to manage their ammunition, stasis energy, and credits. Each gun has its own ammo type, so the player is forced to become familiar with each weapon, otherwise they will quickly find their magazine empty. Stasis energy is scarce, which means that the player should be sure to keep a spare refill on hand in case they run across a fast-moving environmental hazard. Credits are found on dead enemies and in boxes and lockers. These credits can be used at the in-game store to buy new guns and upgrade old ones. Everything in the first area of the game screams immersion. Players don't know what's coming and are constantly on the edge of their seats throughout the whole mission. Enemies will pop out of doors and vents, flanking the player when they least expect it. The first time through is indeed a terrifying trip. Dead Space puts the horror back in survival horror. It seems that many games of this nature forget that they need to create a sense of tension, but Dead Space is filled to the brim with suspense. This game developed quite a following and spanned an animated movie, a comic book, a prequel for the Nintendo Wii, and an upcoming sequel. It has an aggregate score of 89 out of 100 on Metacritic.com. Players appreciated the detailed levels and eye-popping visuals. Hopefully, Dead Space 2 will not disappoint the fans and will remember what made the first one great.